All right, hello and welcome everybody to the Understable Podcast, episode number 53. We've got tour talk today. The tour has been rocking and rolling. There's a lot of things that have been happening since our last episode. So we're here to talk about a few of those things.
Right.
Yeah. How's it going, buddy?
It's going. Been busy.
Mm-hmm.
Had a nice little vacation beginning of the month, and that was great to hang out with my daughter and family and just decompress from work.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, life's been kind of busy. I've been playing a little bit here and there, but this week has been busy with disc golf. I played 5 rounds this week.
5 rounds?
5 rounds, 2 in one day. Any
good ones?
I went +3 and +5 at Echo Valley same day, 2 rounds.
Okay.
Other than that, no. Garbage.
You're getting all the bad rounds out now.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm playing with Kevin tomorrow.
Cool.
Our buddy Kevin. I haven't been playing too much because of my wife's injury situation, but back on the grind. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. We're gonna be playing a Birdie Fest, and I know he's been playing more than I have. So we'll see. I'll report back how it went.
Sounds good. So let's kick this off. Social media.
Social media. You can find me on Instagram at Brandon L. Schmucker, or you can find me on youtube.com/@0BLS if you are into competitive Pokemon content. Lots of battling strategies, how to use guides, things like that. Where can they find you, Mark?
And guess what? If you're not into competitive Pokemon, go hit him up and hit that like and subscribe. Either way,
thank you.
It helps the channels grow.
Thank you.
For me personally, YouTube at Mark Boonstra _disc golf. On Instagram at mark.boonstra. And while you're at it, look us up on YouTube at the Understable Podcast. We're also on Instagram, the Understable Podcast _21, I believe it is.
Yes.
It's not in front of me. And on top of that, we launched a merchandise store back in 2021. We haven't really pushed it at all, but we're going to throw it out there for promotion. So go check out what we got. Buy a hat, buy a shirt, help support our channel.
Yep.
It is the understablepodcast.myspreadshop.com. If you can't remember all that, go to our Facebook page, the Understable Podcast, click the link for the store, and go get some swag.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And shout out to Catalyst Disc Golf for sponsoring me for the 2024 season.
And shout out to Disc Baron for sponsoring me for the 2024 season, 3 years strong.
Yes, that's amazing. So, Prodigy has been in the news again. And another thing where I will stand behind them with this move. Not because they sponsored me for 2 years and I'm not sponsored by them anymore. It has nothing to do with that. But just from a business perspective, Kevin Jones and Vino Makala were underperforming as per their contract, from what I understand. If you go to your job and you underperform at your job, what happens? You get fired. Donald Trump says you're fired.
So does Vince McMahon.
Yes. Prodigy said, hey, you guys are underperforming and you're not fulfilling your contract. However, Prodigy did not leave them guys to the wolves. For those of you that don't know, Prodigy actually set them both up with a contract with Innova.
Really?
Yes, they had a big hand in those contract deals.
So now it's like almost NFL-ish, where when you trade a player, and a traded player, the new team has to pay out the contract, right? So like when you get traded, your contract gets traded with you. All those terms, all those conditions, all that stuff goes with you when you're traded. Now this is a little different, but I'm going to agree with you on this one. I know when things were going down with Gannon, I was kind of like back and forth on who was in the right and who was in the wrong with Prodigy. I think ultimately now, especially like as the dust has settled, Prodigy was definitely in the right.
Yeah. Well, just like this, if you're leasing an apartment and you sign a 12-month lease, right? and you decide after 6 months, hey, I don't like this place, I'm moving out, what happens? They come after you for the remaining rent and a breach of contract. Gannon Buhr was trying to break his contract, which is a breach of contract, so he was in the wrong. Whether he was 17, 18, 25, I don't care what his age was. He made a move to break his contract before it was up, and Prodigy had every right to sue him. It's a business. Disc golf is a business.
It is. And with this, this makes, like, even like from the get, I was like, yeah, this is unfortunately a good move for Prodigy, because, and this is nothing against Kevin Jones, like, or Vino, because like we love both those players. You know, I think we are huge KJ fans here.
I would love to get him on the show.
Yeah, I love KJ. I love his style. I love his attitude. He's very professional. Multi-sport athlete. He's just a multi-talented guy. Sounds like he's a pleasure to be around. But at the end of the day, like
it's
you said,
business.
It's business. He wasn't performing. How many top 10s did he have? How many top 20s did he have?
I think he has one top 20 this entire season.
Yeah.
One. Same with Vino. Vino had one good tournament at the beginning of the year when I picked him up on the draft or on my free agent. But other than that, he hasn't done anything. And that's
honestly, it's such a bummer to think about, because like the Pro Tour is so competitive right now. Like it's so, I want to say cutthroat. You know what I mean? I guess people are getting paid out better than they ever have, but like, everything is so cutthroat, and you should, you should be getting top 20 more than a few times. You know what I mean? You should you should be flexing some top 10s.
Of course.
And it's like, I don't even think that the top level players are that much like above everyone else. I think the playing field is so level, and that's where the problem is if, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like Gannon, he's one of the best right now.
Yep.
But can Gannon get beat by anyone on any day? Yes, he can. And that's the problem. That's the problem. And that's what, like, KJ.
But that's what the sport needs. It needs that competition. It doesn't need the Paul Macbeth from 5-6 years ago where it's Paul or Ricky.
Right.
It needs this group of players. You got Ricky in the mix. You got AB in the mix. And you got Nicholas Antla in the mix.
Yeah.
Gannon Buhr, as you said. He didn't even Paul in majors.
Yeah.
Paul's not done.
No, he's not. What he gets, he's getting podium finishes.
Look at Ezra Robinson.
Yeah.
Ezra Robinson round 2 is below the cut line.
Yeah.
He made the cut at European, and he finished 7th.
Yeah. Any given day, man. Any given day. It's turning into the NFL, man. Anyone can beat anyone. But that is the problem. If you, Kevin, or anyone, honestly, if anyone is capable of beating anyone and you haven't beat anyone, you're underperforming. You know what I mean? Not getting a top 20 means you're not beating anyone.
Right.
And like I say that obviously like as a media guy behind my microphone, but like that's what we do, is we kind of overanalyze these things.
If either one of us were to get a top 20 in a Pro Tour event, I think we'd be like on a high, we'd be winning. That's a win for both of us.
Right.
Hands down.
But on the Pro Tour, like, it wasn't worth it for Prodigy to spend a single dollar more. And like I mentioned, like we were talking in the group chat, if Innova came along, and now like you sounds like you got more details, but like if Innova came along and they were like, hey, we'll offer you $10 more than what Prodigy is paying, Prodigy should let that go.
I don't even think it was that at all. I think it was Prodigy said, you're underperforming, we are cutting you. However, we have worked out a deal with Innova for you to still be able to compete.
I wonder if Innova gave Prodigy some sort of like financial compensation or something like that.
I'm sure there was something in the behind the scenes that we don't know.
Yeah, like buying players or something like that.
Perhaps. Yeah. But here's the bigger catch on this that I think is going on. Prodigy's not going to spend the money for a Paul Macbeth, a Ricky Wysocki, and Nicholas Antla. They have Isaac and Ezra. I think they just freed up to retain them long term.
Problem is, I don't think they have the kind of money that they need to land a big player like that. But
They don't.
I don't know.
They don't.
Right. So yes, you are right. But it's like, you know what I mean?
But as a business perspective, Prodigy's doing things right.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
How long can Discraft maintain Dickerson, Paige Pierce, Paul Macbeth, Chris Clemens?
Brody.
Paige is playing half a schedule.
Yeah.
Chris is playing half a schedule.
Yeah.
If I were them two, I'd be pretty ticked off, and I'd be dropping both of them at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are not fulfilling your contract obligations.
I have Chris on my fantasy team, and it drives me insane.
Yeah.
And when he plays,
he's a very
he's crazy.
good player. When he plays, he's good.
When he plays, I win. You know what I mean? But
yeah, pretty much.
I missed him for an entire month or more.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't play West Coast at all.
Nope.
Which, in all fairness, we did talk to GT Hancock about that, and he doesn't go out west because
a lot of
the purses just aren't good. It's not cost effective to go out there to not even win, or not even cash, and just spend all that money.
Imagine driving all the way there. Everything is so expensive over there, and then you miss the cut. Like, you literally just spent that much money. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not like going to Europe where if you miss a cut in Europe, you're like, oh well, at least I'm in Europe. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with Prodigy on this one.
I think we beat that one enough.
Yeah, I think we did. Let's move on.
Kristen Tatar.
Kristen Tatar.
Your girl. Your chick.
My girl. My champion.
So, for those of you that don't know what happened to Kristen, she took some time off like she does every year.
Mm-hmm.
While at home, basically doing household chores, she ended up breaking at least one of her ribs, which took her out of competition a little longer than she had anticipated.
Yep.
She comes back. Now, she did play a local tournament before European to see how she was doing. But she came back, and outside of that +8 round, played phenomenal golf.
Yeah.
What can I say? She did Kristen things. I mean, there's no other way to say it.
Yep.
Kristen did Kristen things. I thought after round 3 she was out of it.
So did I.
She was far behind. But I did watch highlights from the final round of European. Evelina had the putting woes. The pressure got to her. She missed so many putts.
That hurts me so much because I think Evelina has the highest ceiling of. This is going to be a bold claim here. I think Evelina has the highest ceiling of any FPO player, but the lowest floor. And she is so... I'm shocked for her that she doesn't win more. I wish she would win more because she's so good.
Right.
I want her to win more. But these big moments have caught her a lot. These big moments, she has not clutched up in a lot of these big moments. And we have seen some virally bad putting.
Even Waco last year.
Yeah. Yeah, when she missed a tap in, it just stuck to her hand. It was like,
yep. Oh. I've had those, you've had those. As a pro player, you're expected to make those kind of putts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to argue with you on this or debate with you on this. I think the future of FPO is actually Silva Saarinen.
Okay.
She's 19 years old.
Yep.
She went 3 out of 4 weeks in June in the European Tour.
Yep.
And she should have beat Kristen at European.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two OBs cost her the European Open.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but I think she is going to be a very big up-and-comer. She's going to have a big contract in the near future, and she's one to watch out for.
We've got a lot of ladies on the come-up right now. A lot more than usual. There's a lot of really young and talented FPO players right now because guess what? Guess who they've been watching? Guess who they've been molding their game after? Kristen Tatar. Kristen Tatar. Is Kristen Tatar the greatest FPO player ever? I'm going to present this question prematurely. What do you think?
Is she the greatest?
Is she the greatest? What do you think?
Right now, absolutely.
I feel like it's too early in her career to tell, but
it's too early in her career. And let me kind of answer your question with the question: how do you define the greatest? What standards do you set? You know, with Michael Jordan, you have championships won, you have players of the year, you have all these different stats.
Mm-hmm.
What stats do you pull from in disc golf? Is it majors won? Is it world championships? Is it highest rated? What do you pull? Because if you're going off world championships, you got Ken Climo hands down.
Right.
And he's got more majors won.
Right.
But I think Kristen, as far as FPO talent, is by far on top of everybody else right now.
So how many world championships does Val have? Val Jenkins?
I want to say 3.
3. And Juliana Korver has
5. She was the first FPO to hit 5.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously you got Paige Pierce at 5.
Yeah.
But my argument against Paige is once Kristen started to dominate, she lost her passion. And instead of trying to improve her game and get better, she decided to go part-time.
For me, what it comes down to is Kristen has gone certain places that other FPO players haven't gone. And for me, that's the 1,000 club. You know what I mean? That in a competitive FPO environment, hitting 1,000. Paige Pierce wanted to be the first. I remember, and she came close, and she didn't do it.
Yes, she did.
And Kristen did it. Kristen can go out there and compete with
a broken rib
and with MPO players, dude. Like, what to me, what sets Kristen apart, and I think we'll see this more in the future, is how many running backs in the NFL, they come out of the combine, they get interviewed, and they're like, well, who is your favorite running back? And they're like, I love Barry Sanders. How many of them said they wanted to be Barry Sanders? All of them.
Yeah, or Emmitt
Smith. Those were the 2. Those are the only ones. Nobody ever talks about any other running backs they wanted to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's Barry.
Absolutely.
It's Emmitt. That's
Walter Payton. You got Walter Payton in there.
Adrian Peterson now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me throw 2 words at you.
Yes.
Let me throw 2 words at you for Kristen Tatar. Adaptability and constantly evolving. Well, I guess 3 words. But evolution and adaptability. Kristen has, when somebody else rises up to give her a challenge, she adapts and she gets better.
Yeah. Future FPO players are when they're asked who or how or why they became or whatever their influence was, it's going to be Kristen, because Kristen is the epitome of professionalism, the epitome 100%. Of performance, the epitome of clutch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's so nice to be around. We've interviewed FPO players who said she's the best. They want to hate her, but they can't because she's so nice. She's put together. She's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, people didn't ever say that they were influenced by Juliana Korver. You know what I mean? Maybe some people were influenced by Val and Paige. It wasn't. It wasn't
nearly as big as it is now.
It wasn't. But
they set the stage for Kristen to come on. They set the stage for Paige Pierce to come along and do what she did. But like, everything's been a stepping stone, and now, like I said, you have Silva Saarinen, 19 years old.
Yep.
I won't be surprised if she wins a world championship in the next 2 to 3 years.
Right. Got to take it from Kristen, but
she, like I said, 2 bogeys cost her European Open.
Right. But like, you know, even when Kristen loses, she does it with grace and professionalism.
She does.
You know what I mean? She doesn't blame anyone except herself. So that's what sets her apart.
Did you catch any of the highlights from FPO?
Not yet. I've been waiting for the full footage.
Gotcha.
Which we gotta wait like a whole other week for, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think the coolest moment of that for me, because I've watched the highlights. I watched the MPO and FPO highlights. The coolest moment of that was when she tapped in her putt. And, you know, she did her hoorah, I won kind of thing. And her daughter came running out and gave her the biggest hug. Yeah. I think that is so cool. That's so... I don't want to say it's not professional, but it shows a whole different side of Kristen besides a competitor. It shows her as a mom. It shows her as a person. It shows her that she cares about those who are in her life.
Right.
And it's just a unique side you don't get from other people.
Except Patrick Mahomes, because he won't stop winning the Super Bowl, and it's bothering me.
No comment.
Sorry. Bitter Bengals fan here.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've already hit Silva.
Mm-hmm.
Another FPO that's up and coming, I think, who's due for breakout season soon is Rebecca Cox.
Yeah.
She has been steadily getting better and better and better, and I think she's going to be consistently top 10, even podiums in the near future.
Yep.
So, another one to look out for.
I could see her shifting to another company soon. She's been with Latitude for so long.
I don't think she will.
You don't think so?
No, and part of that's because the Natty has not a partnership, but the Natty is highly involved with Dynamic Discs.
Oh.
So I think she'll stay there for a long term.
Yeah, I mean,
unless they don't offer another contract.
Maybe if she outperforms what she's being paid now, like you're saying, and if they don't want to pay, but we'll see. If they might have Kona off their hands by that point.
But Dynamic is known for spending money, so Dynamic and Discraft spend money.
True.
So,
all right, what's next?
Proposed rules changes for 2025. Big topic here.
I'm excited for these.
Yeah. So, fans, what we're gonna do is we're gonna break this down over 2 to 3 episodes. We're gonna cover couple of the major rules changes now. Then the next one we'll do some of the minor, and then we'll touch on a handful of other ones going forward.
Yeah.
One of the biggest changes that's proposed, and nothing set in stone as far as I know yet, but these are proposed rules changes for next season. One of the biggest ones has to do with time management and the fact that a player may elect to take a 60-second timeout twice a round. I do not agree with this at all, and I think, Brandon, you're on the same page as me.
I think the whole idea of this is very dumb. Sorry, to put it not so lightly. But do you want to give your thoughts first, or do you want to read off kind of what the text is that we're kind of getting from the proposed rule, and then we'll kind of talk about our thoughts?
Yeah. So right from the PDGA website for this rule, time management. A player has taken excessive time if they are present and have not thrown within 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
1, after the previous player has thrown, and 2, after they have had a reasonable amount of time to arrive at and determine the lie, and after they are next in the throwing order and during which the play area remains clear. Obviously, you can reset for distractions and things like that. If somebody crosses your line, spectators over, you can reset.
Right.
That's all the current rule. We're allowed to do that. You can reset if you need to. With that, here's the change. When it is their turn to throw, a player may elect to take a 60-second timeout up to 2 times in a round. The request can be made at any time during the 30-second excessive time period described in 802.03.a. The player must indicate to the group that they wish to use one of their timeouts. Timeouts may not be called retroactively. So if your 30 seconds are up, you can't call timeout. You're warned and then penalized.
Right.
Each timeout used by a player is to be noted on the scorecard. I don't like this for a couple reasons. One, it's going to make the game or the pace of play slow down. You already have people, no offense, Gannonberg, Nico, and others, Cupcake, that already take more time than they should when it comes to throwing shots, putting, et cetera, et cetera. Rules are not enforced. That's my first gripe about this. Rules are already not enforced the way they should be.
That's a big thing.
And how is this going to affect your local C tiers and B tiers of amateur players? Are they going to, obviously you only get 2, but are they going to abuse it and use them back to back? Are they going to use them in times when they don't need to?
Right.
I think it's just a bad rule change altogether. My opinion on this: 1, start enforcing the rules. 30 seconds, call them. Give them that warning and then call them every time after that.
Yep.
But, we talked to Sarah Holcomb a few years ago, about foot faults and rules, and they're not focused on the technicalities of that, but players need to be. They need to be mindful and be aware of this.
Yeah.
That's also why you have to have an official on the hole.
Yep.
You have to.
Yeah.
With my thoughts on this, I say get rid of the 30-second rule. Make it 45 seconds. You get 1 reset, and that's it.
Yeah.
That is it. And enforce it. You have to enforce the rules. You cannot pick and choose what you're going to enforce. It nullifies every other rule.
That's for me the biggest part of this is like you're going so far in getting so creative for something that never gets enforced anyway. And when it does get enforced, you make an enemy of the card. You know what I mean? Like, or that player. Like, you make enemies enforcing these rules. So if you want to do this, like you said, you need officials, because players aren't going to enforce this, especially on an amateur level. Nobody's
exactly.
You know what I mean? Because like nobody's there for that. You play your local C tier, and like, you know what I mean? I'm not there to like make people feel bad about taking more than 30 seconds, which nobody really even does anyway.
Right. But still, it's the principle of the fact that those that I listed, I mean, just watch a Pro Tour event. Right. Gannon takes almost a minute to putt sometimes.
Yeah.
Nico does.
Yeah.
But my question is, are players too afraid to call because of the situation last year at European with Nico?
Yeah, honestly, probably. Yeah. Because they don't want to.
Nobody wants to be that guy.
Yeah. Because, okay, as soon as you call that, like, say you're on a roll, okay, you're 8 down through 10, but you're playing with Nico, and then you call that, and all of a sudden, like, now the focus becomes that altercation you had with, I mean, I say Nico, that's not really fair, but that was just the first player that came to mind.
No, but it's a very valid point, because it's only one that we've seen act out.
Right. But like all of a sudden, like, what if he gets in your face, and you know what I mean? And now there's tension with the group. There's tension between you and the player you called it on, and all of a sudden your round falls apart. Like, it's not worth it to call, because you make enemies. And then it's your local C tier, and maybe like you could say, oh, maybe you need like thicker skin, but like, okay, I call that on somebody, and now all of a sudden, we've got the lunch break and we go out to the next round, and all of a sudden, like, Nico's been dragging my name through the mud on the lunch break. Not that Nico plays 2-round C tiers, but like,
right
now you've got that over your shoulders, and it's like, now we're not having fun, right? Like, I understand it's competition, but now we're not. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess there's a line, right? Professionals, I guess they don't really care about fun, but we do. So
yeah. But either way, it has to be enforced from the top down.
It does. It does.
I think if you start enforcing it at the top, it'll trickle down.
And players, I honestly think making players enforce it isn't helping, because they don't enforce it. That's the bottom line. And when it does get enforced by your peers, it feels bad. It feels bad. Yeah. It feels bad to be that guy. It feels bad to be called out. It feels bad as, like, if you're in a group and someone gets called out on something and you are all of a sudden involved in it and you didn't want to be, now you feel bad. You know what I mean? Like, someone calls a foot fault on someone and I wasn't watching. Now all of a sudden I'm part of this debacle. You know what I mean? That's going to trickle on for everyone forever and ever, and live on in the history books of whatever course this is. You know what I mean? Like,
but at the same time, like, somebody has to second that call for football.
It does. Yeah. I mean,
so if nobody,
when you sign up for a tournament, you do have to understand the rules, and you do have to be ready, because when you sign up for a tournament, yes, you can be there for fun, but it is a competition. At the end of the day, you should be trying to play your best. You know what I mean? I mean, everyone can have different goals, but like, you do need to understand the rules. Okay. So like me, I do need to be watching for foot faults and stuff like that. I do have to be ready to second them. That is part of the game right now until we get officials.
Right. And unfortunately, I don't ever see officials coming to local C tiers, B tiers, even A tiers. There's just not enough people out there to do it.
Right. You know what I mean?
If you ask me to be an official or an assistant TD for a tournament, and I have the opportunity to play that tournament, I'm probably going to play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And maybe that's one of those things where everybody at every level of sanctioned event needs to be a certified TD.
Yeah. Oh, and then here's another thing. If you hire outside officials, which first and foremost, let's be real. You had an idea a long time ago, putting one official per hole. That was an excellent idea. I love that.
I think that was Sarah's idea, actually.
Oh, okay. Which you kind of just adapted or whatever. I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I love that. Problem is, you got to find 18 people, hire them. You got to pay them somehow. Whether
I will pay more for my PDGA if they hire officials and enforce rules.
Right. But
I have no problem paying more.
It's going to come out of the it's going to come out of the players pack too. And there's other things that are going to start coming out of the players pack too. We'll talk about in some other rules.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, but you have 250 or 300,000 PDGA members, whether they're active or not. If you just take 2/3 of the members that are active and renew every year, and you charge an extra $35 or $40 for your membership, let's make it $100. It's $100 flat fee every year for your membership.
Yep.
That should give you enough money to hire your officials, take them with you, and be able to support that.
Right. Yeah.
It shouldn't come out of any of the tournament costs. It shouldn't come out of the players packs or the purses or any of that. Yeah. The bigger issue I have with that is integrity of the officials. How many of these officials are going to not call something because Ricky's their favorite or Paige Pierce is their favorite? You're going to go into favoritism, and you see it in pro sports nowadays.
Yeah.
Officials don't make calls because where it's the betting odds from Vegas or, hey, Mahomes is my favorite quarterback, so I'm not going to call this legitimate call because they got to win.
Right. I think I'm less worried about that. I think I'm less worried about them not calling than players not calling. I think we already know, like, players are much less likely to call things than officials, but you do bring up a good point.
Right.
You know, but at the same time, like, what if Ricky's got a homie on his card and is not calling Ricky over blatant footfalls? You know what I mean? Right. It's the same thing, except we paid more for an official to ignore that.
And that's what I mean. Like, I would be okay paying more if there were officials and it was actually called.
Right.
Rules were enforced.
Right.
You would almost have to bring in non-disc golf people to be officials.
Almost. But these other rules, have to pay them a lot more. You have to pay them a lot more.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
my overall
what are your thoughts on the time?
My overall thought is I think it's really dumb. I think like you said, there shouldn't be a time rule at all. There really shouldn't. The game is faster than golf. Let's be honest here. Let's be perfectly honest. It's way faster than golf. I like the organic state of the game. I never feel like even when I play like a long round, I never feel like, boy, I never want to do that again, right? And it sucks to sit and wait on a hole, right? But is this really going to fix that? Or is the hole maybe really hard? Or the players maybe really bad? You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference. It's not, I don't think it's pace of play, dude. Like, sometimes you walk up to a hole with a backup because it's a par 5 and we're amateur players and we're taking 7s. You know, that's why, not because of time.
Yeah. Right. But at the same time, I mean, pace of play still has to be there.
Right.
If you're on a par 5 that's 600 foot, let's be honest, are you throwing 600 foot through the woods? Probably not.
You don't know me.
I'm not.
You don't know me.
Hey, whoa. I take offense to that.
Yeah, all right.
But the point is, when they get down after their second shot, when they're throwing their upshot to the green, the next group needs to be teeing off.
That is true.
Because by the time they walk down to their live, so you got 5 on your card.
Yeah.
5 on the card in front of you. They've all teed off. They've all thrown their second shot. They're now approaching probably circle 2. Just outside of C2. You need to be teeing off.
I do notice people are very sheepish. That's pace of play
that needs to be. Yeah.
They're very sheepish about that. Sometimes people won't tee off until they see, like, if it's like, you're not going to hit them. You make a good point. Like, 600 feet, like, you're not going to hit them. Once they're all walking to the circle, start teeing off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to hit them. That's an excellent point. I see that especially in like amateur level. People are afraid to tee off when it comes to like larger courses. Like when I would play Ledgestone, man, it's like, dude, like, can we tee off because this hole is a 500 foot dog leg? Like, they're at the basket. Let's go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, just like for you at Brewer, hole 4, I think, the
horseshoe. Yep.
Yeah, when they get around that horseshoe, tee off.
Yeah. No, we don't need to wait.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
And spotters and volunteers take note of this as well for tournaments. When I went to Idlewild a couple of years ago and I went to spectate, hole 12 had a 4-car backup
Oof.
because the spotter waited till the pros were on the green putting out before the next one teed off. And that's a tough hole.
Yeah.
It's like 300 foot, then a 90-degree turn, and another like 400 foot to the basket, 300 foot to the basket. It's a like let them tee off. Most of the pros are laying up to that corner anyway before they're going for the green.
Right. Right.
You have to keep things moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So pace of play can be enforced if it's done properly.
Yep. Overall, I think it's a whole lot of something about nothing, if that makes any sense. Like that's my thoughts about it. It's like, who cares?
Right.
It's not going to get enforced. Until it's enforced, it doesn't matter. You're not going to see You're not going to see logged TOs in people's scorecards. You're just not, especially at the amateur level, dude.
Right.
It's never going to happen unless you're a jerk and you are the only one enforcing that on your card, which, you know what I mean? Then it's like, oh, well, now I'm a jerk for enforcing rules. It's just not necessary until it's enforced. That's my thoughts.
Exactly. I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, next one. What you got?
Next. Video evidence.
Video evidence.
Okay. Video evidence. Pardon me, I'm going to be reading this off. Expand the use of video evidence to course markings. So this is for officials. So photo or video evidence may only be used by the tournament director or a tournament official to 1. Clarify the meaning of course markings that indicate teeing areas under 802.04.a, restricted routes under 804.01, regulated areas under 806, or drop zones. This includes clarifying that a marking on the course is not relevant to competition. So what does that all mean?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So what does that
basically right now, video evidence is not allowed to be used to make calls like missed mandos, OBs, things of that nature.
Which I'm fine with.
Here's why I put this in here. If you go to number 2 on that.
2, yep. And this is where it's really important.
Yes.
But also at the same time, I guess I'm not against them changing it to where they can use video for Miss Mando or something. I'm really truly not against it.
Let me ask you this: are you going to have a camera with every single card to make sure it's fair?
No, absolutely not. But if we
so now you're going to pick out the top 3 or 4 cards that have videos that have Joe Mez following them, and they're going to be the ones that get punished.
No, so I think we're not there yet when it comes to that. If there's a way to easily access that footage in real time, like, oh, we're not sure. If there was a way to literally like pull up a video like that in a timely manner to use, then I would think it's okay to be enforced. Right now, I don't think it's necessarily feasible or practical or fair. But you kind of get what I'm saying? You know how like, pro sports, they can kind of just go back and, and kind of look at things like reverse calls. Yep. I think if we were able to access that video or data instantly, I would be more for it.
So you would have to have video coverage set up on every single hole that's live.
That's true. It's true.
So now you're going to practically triple the production cost.
Well, in 100 years when disc golf is nationally recognized and on ESPN 36, then yeah, I think that's what we're going to see.
Hopefully it gets that big.
Yeah.
So my biggest thing with the video evidence is number 2 here.
Yeah. Yep.
So make rulings related to player misconduct as defined in 3.03. This evidence may be provided by anyone present who witnessed the misconduct. Mm-hmm. Evidence of player misconduct may also be evaluated at any time by the PDJ disciplinary committee.
Yes.
Perfect example of this is when Miss Holland Handley, threw an obscene gesture up right in front of the camera.
Right.
She knew the camera was there.
Yep.
That to me is player misconduct.
Yeah.
You are not acting in accordance of a professional athlete or representative of the PDGA or the DGPT.
Mm-hmm. I think even like Nico's outburst with that official, obviously it was caught by like camera crews, but you could go as far as like if Nico's in someone's face, and it's not covered on camera, say like Nico gets in Ganon's face, right? Ganon picks up his phone and records him, and Nico continues. Even something like that, like, you should get punished for that. Not Ganon,
Yes.
but like Nico. Like, if you see it, call it out. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
there's no room for that in disc golf. And there's no room in
Now-
that situation you're talking about. I feel like she should have been able to be retroactively punished.
Correct. At least one stroke, maybe two.
At least one stroke. There could have been a fine for that too from the PDGA.
Yes, there could have been.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and that's the big controversial thing with Nico is if that wasn't on camera, would that have been blown up the way it was?
No.
Would he have been punished the way he was?
No. Because
No.
it would have been the official's word against Nico, and then people would have been like, "Oh, well, yeah, well, Nico, it's just Nico." You know what I mean?
He's just passionate about the sport.
Right. What did Bradley Williams do? Didn't he like fight somebody?
I think he dropped the N-word on accident.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't do that.
Or I don't quote me on that. People, I know it's probably not 100% accurate, but yeah, he made a derogatory comment, and that's what got him, if I'm not mistaken.
Take that with a grain of salt, because I'm literally asking because we don't know.
Right.
I don't remember the exact details.
It sounds like based on this, now again, these are proposed, you'll be able to use things like phone recordings and things of that nature to do this. And again, the PDGA at any time can evaluate misconduct.
Yeah.
If they get word of it, they can always go back and say, "Hey, where's the evidence of this?" and retroactively do things.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I agree with that too. I think that's fair. Like, just don't be that guy. It's not that hard. Don't be that guy. Okay, right. And then you won't get punished.
Now, while these players and athletes are contractors, they are still representatives of the DGPT and the PDGA. They need to act accordingly.
Yes.
When I was in the military, we got punished if we represented the military in a negative manner.
Yeah.
DUI is a big thing. You get hit civilian trial, you get hit military trial.
Yeah.
If you don't conduct yourself appropriately and in a professional manner while you are representing an organization, you should be punished.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying punish these players for going out and getting drunk on their time.
No.
But if they go out and get drunk and disorderly and DUI and bring a negative light to the sport, there has to be a punishment.
Yep. Yeah. It's I'm trying to find a good way to word this. Like, you as a professional, if you're a gifted athlete, you're in a powerful position, and what you say matters, and that's the reality of the situation. Whether or not you wanted that, what you say matters. So what you say, what you do, you representing a company, you're representing yourself, you're representing disc golf. You're gonna be that way, and you're gonna make everything, if you're gonna make everyone look bad and uncomfortable, and then you're gonna get punished. And you should be.
It's just like when I signed my contract with Prodigy, there's a disclaimer in there where if you act out and bring shade to Prodigy, they will kick you off an amateur team.
Yeah.
Amateur team.
Yeah. Yeah. Rightfully so.
We're not even getting paid.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you discredit or make Prodigy look bad, they will straight up kick you off your team.
Yeah. I'm with this. People need to be held accountable for their actions. That's just the bottom line.
Exactly. 100%. Enforce the rules, disc golf, please.
Yeah.
People will take advantage of every inch you give them.
Yeah. Yep.
Just enforce the rules.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So let's kind of wrap this up a little bit. We can come back to the amateur tournament status because that's going to be a big one to talk about.
Yeah, I like this one too. So I'm excited to talk about this one the next time.
Yeah. All right. So I was playing a flex start at Echo Valley today.
Okay.
Today. It's still today.
Okay. Yeah.
I played absolute trash. I shot plus 12.
Nice.
I don't know why I can't compete there. I should be shooting like plus 3, plus 4 at worst. Started off with the 7 on hole 1.
Nice.
Don't do that, people.
You're like, I'm ready to go home.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's already over.
So I got done with my round, and Jeremy Panucci, owner of Hazy Shade, was sitting at the check-in tent. He was doing check-ins, playing TD. And we got talking about ratings and divisions and this, that, and the other. He brought up a good point. What if we got rid of the amateur divisions? M1, M2, M3, M4. Get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Masters divisions, get rid of them. You have Pro and you have Amp.
Yeah.
and you separate things by a rating gap. Now, things are already separated by ratings. You know, AM3 is 850 to 900, AM4 is 800 to 850.
Yeah.
But, Brandon, you could play up to AM1 if you wanted to. As an
Yes.
AM2 player, you could play up.
Yeah.
Get
Which
rid
I
of
do.
that.
Which I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
What he was saying was, why not make it where if you're an 835 rated player like me, you are only eligible to play with 800 to 850 rated players.
Yeah.
It makes competition more fair. Like, for example, today, I played in the M40 division.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you in Dayton, Blake Schaefer is also in that division. He's 920 something rated. I'm 835 rated. I have to play 9 strokes better than my best round ever just to match his floor.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
I have a thought, an idea. What if when you have your AM and pro, nothing changes. We're not doing anything different with pro, right?
Correct.
Here's an idea for that. When you buy into a tournament, you buy into the amateur pool, and you don't know where you'll be slotted, because you'll be slotted based on. You'll be divided out. Sorry, just hit my microphone. You'll be divided out based on everyone else who signed up. So if 10, no, let's go with 12. If 12 people sign up, and 4 of them are kind of like, 4 of the AMs are like 950 to 970, right? Those 4 get put together to compete for a trophy. And then the next 4 down the list are 915 to 950. They are in a group. And then the other ones are, say, 910 down to 870. Those ones are all put together. But you don't know how many people are. You just sign into the pool. But like now let's make this exponential, right? And let's say 30 people signed up. The 10 people who are kind of the closest in rating, they go to 1, and then the next 10 are in 1, and then the bottom 10 are in 1. Does that kind of make sense? And you could even go as far, like, if you have some players who are like way far below the rest, that could be like your AM4. Maybe you put those like 2 or 3 in another division. Does that make sense? It's a little more work.
I think it's just overcomplicating the system. If you just break it down by what their rating is, like a rating gap, and that's where you're stuck. You get rid of the division. You can't say someone's a bagger. You can't say, but like for me, I could play up to AM2 right now. I'm not going to win AM2. In fact, I'm going to slow them guys down because I don't play as clean.
Mm-hmm.
I should be playing in a division or with a group of players that are within a 5-stroke difference of where my rating is. Up or down 5 strokes. That gives me a fair chance at a win because at that point, anything can happen in the division. You might have an 849 rated player against an 820 rated player, just like in bracket style basketball.
Yeah.
16 plays 1, 16 can upset 1 at any given moment. Is it likely? No. Is it possible? Yes.
Here's my thing.
And here's another thing with this.
All right, go for it.
You take all those players that are not rated, that say it's their first tournament, and they have their own pool.
Yeah.
The unrated players only play against unrated players.
Yeah. That sounds like horrible. I would never sign up for an unrated player tournament because I know I'm going to get bagged out.
Well, no, you sign up for it, and then after the end of the tournament, you get your rating, and then going forward, that's where you play.
Dude,
how many times do you go to a tournament where there's somebody playing their first tournament? They're playing AM4 or AM3, and they come out and they crush.
Dude, 9 times out of 10, they would have got like first or second place in AM1. I hate when that happens,
exactly.
Dude. I hate that. They're always like,
exactly.
It's always some really tall 18-year-old kid, and he just crushes a disc, and he hits like every 40-footer, and you're like, dude, come on, man.
Go play pro. Go
right,
play PL,
yeah.
Please.
Yeah, and then they stop playing 3 years later, and you're like, oh, God, why were you there?
Right. So what's your final thoughts on that?
Here's my final thoughts. I think the less complicated thing to do would be obviously, let's stop naming these divisions because there's a lot of parity. Let's just call it AM 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the lower you are, the quote unquote worse.
The worse you are.
The worse you are. So let's stop naming them.
They've gotten rid of the names. They're just AM 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's stop naming them because that's just whatever, dude. Like saying you play recreationally but you're at a tournament makes no sense. Which, sorry, that's weird. I feel like you can still have fun at a tournament, but
right.
You know what I mean? It's like advanced, intermediate, and then like recreational, and then novice. Like, I don't know, it makes no sense. Get rid of the names. Call it AM 1, 2, 3, and 4. The ratings need updated restrictions. They need updated restrictions. AM3, okay, the difference between an 850 rated player and a 910 rated player, that is a big gap. That's
6 strokes. You're talking 6-stroke difference.
That is such a big gap. Everything needs to be changed. The AM3 needs to go down to 850. Or not, I'm sorry, not 850. Like 890 to 885. That's where AM3 needs to end. And that's where you start AM2. Because I'm telling you, man, like the difference.
What's AM1? 935 and up?
935 and up.
So you start there. You start anything below 935 down to say 900 or 895. I would say give at least a 4-stroke difference, 40 points.
Okay.
Going back to my concept that you could have a 934 rated guy playing against 899 rated guy, and the 899 can come out and just mop the field.
Yeah,
it's possible.
I'm telling you, there is a significant difference in skill between someone who's 880 rated and someone who's 900, and yet they can play in the same division. Once you hit 890 and start improving, like you're finally starting to figure things out, and you're leaving a lot of people behind. And I don't think people, and this is based on a lot of my experience in AM3, and players are just getting better. 890 is harder to get, and the closer people get to 900, the farther away from AM3 they're getting. They're getting way farther away. AM3 needs to go down. It needs to go down to like 885 because those people can all still play with each other. But anyone below 885 like has a hard time with anyone around 900. That's my thoughts about it. Because me at 885 and then me at 905 was so different. It was, and I mean, I know it's 20 points, and you say, yeah, that's 20 points.
But that's the difference of 8 putts around.
Right. But when you're an amateur, you get points easier the lower you are. You get those points way easier. 20 points when you're higher is way harder. But when you're lower rated, it's easier to go up. But that means it shouldn't be such a drastic difference between an 885 rated player and a 900. But there is a drastic difference.
Yeah.
I think that would eliminate a lot of the problems for the amateur divisions, is lowering the bar, not the bar. I guess it would be lowering the bar to get into AM2, but 890 players can hang with 920 rated players. It's absolutely possible.
So, yeah, good thoughts. I like it. I mean, we've said for years that AM3 needs to be updated.
It does. Really does. AM3 especially because it's the most crowded. Like something needs to be done about that division the most.
Right. So, guys, if you have any comments on that, throw them down in the comment section. Post on Facebook, whatever. Let us know your thoughts. We want to hear back from you guys. Hopefully, in the near future, we will be able to do YouTube Live.
Yes.
Get you guys involved in it. Obviously, tonight we're recording pretty late, so it won't happen on live. But in the future, that's our goal. Yeah. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. All right, guys. Until next episode, go ahead and keep it in the fairway.